happening there?
Okay, sorry about that.
Means it's happening.
Hey guys.
What's
How
happening?
you doing?
What's
I
happening?
can't wait for the weekend.
I'm ready to go.
Me too, but hey, we're gonna have a good class before that.
What's happening?
What did you guys do that made you sore?
We're in off-season workouts right now,
Okay.
and we just arms and legs, it's intense lifting.
Where do you guys lift at? Like at the. Okay. Do you guys use free weights too, or just?
Yeah, there's three ways in machines.
Jay, when are y'all going to the track?
I have no idea. He hasn't said anything about it yet.
Alright, we're not gonna sit at those back two tables, okay? So you guys can pick any of the pods before, that's fine if you're just standing for now, but.
Right there. We're sitting.
You can sit there.
Okay, you guys have a chance to check the board? You shut it? You guys have a chance to check the board? Everyone find their group, find their seats, gather their supplies. If you haven't, go ahead and take 30 seconds now to gather the supplies you guys need. Make sure you have your notebook open. What do we need?
We have a board.
20 seconds. So if you have your whiteboard and rag and expo, make sure you have your notebook out. You need your own notebook out, your email notebook. Okay, 10 seconds and we're going to get started.
Why is it so quiet?
I don't know. Want me to turn the music up?
Music.
I'll turn it up until I start talking again. Okay. Here we go, guys. So the reason this is a little bit different than normal, okay? We're starting a new unit, okay? So this is going to be kind of our intro to this unit. So, your yellow group. So Caleb, Maya, Nicole. Okay. So for the problem I'm going to give you guys, as you're due now, this is kind of how it's going to run, okay? So you're going to have 2 minutes to work on your own like you guys normally do. You guys do your due now on your own. After those 2 minutes on your own, where you write it in your notebook, you're going to have 2 minutes to discuss your answer as a group and come up with a consensus of what you think the answer is. You will then also kind of have a summary prepared for how you solved this, so what was your method, and how difficult would you rate this problem, okay? So this is something that, this is new, right? So we haven't necessarily gone over this, but we should be able to solve this problem, okay? And this is our intro at the end of the new material. So any questions on what we're doing? So for when I turn the page, what's going to be the noise level for the first 2 minutes? 0. Okay, perfect. Here we go. sure, make sure you're trying to write something down. You're taking a guess on it, then you'll be able to talk to your group about it. Time check, you have about 20 seconds left. Okay guys, 2 minutes, so go ahead and discuss with your groups. You have 2 minutes, and I want you to write your final answer on the whiteboard for the number of tubs sold and how many days it took. Okay, so 2 minutes.
If you start off with 6,
Oh, you started at 8.
Chase, how did you do? Okay, so if you guys agree on the answer, go ahead and write it on the whiteboard and be ready to explain how you got it.
it doesn't matter if they're getting sold this stuff. Like, it's like,
Start from the second.
yeah, you just like.
Cigarettes.
You got a working man? Yeah, working man. Trying to smoke a cigarette everywhere.
You guys done? You write it on the board? Are you guys ready to explain how you got it?
No.
You need to be ready to tell the class what you got it. Okay? 30 seconds. 7 days? I don't think it's 7 days. How did you get 7? Talk about it. I see that you have 2, you have 7. How did you get 2? What did you get? You guys need to come to an agreement. Times 2 days. 10 seconds. You guys need to have it written on your board and be able to explain your reasoning. Okay, time. Go ahead and hurry up and write it if you have it. Okay? Go ahead and hold up your board and look at the other groups and see if you guys got the same thing. So you need to answer both number of tubs and days. Okay, so add your days. So you guys said 10 tubs, 2 days, 10, 2, 10, 2, 10, 2, 10, 2. Okay, who wants to start and explain like the method that you guys use to solve this? What group wants to? Okay.
I don't know if it's right or not.
Well, you got the right answer, so
6 plus 2 is 8.
do you want to write on the board? Or do you want me to scribe for you?
You can do it.
So 6, what does 6 represent?
3 amounts, or tubs he's on this.
Oh, so this is Dale, okay?
And then if you start selling 2 per day, then 6 plus 2 is 8. So, and this is 8.
So this is day 1,
Day 1.
and then day 2
And then Tara,
would be
5.
10. So Tara starts with
5.
5, Okay.
And then that's her day one.
Okay.
Day two.
Or this is day 0. That's what she starts
So
with.
she starts with 0.
0.
Tara begins selling, oh, okay, so she starts with 0. Okay, so day 1, like you were saying.
Yeah, her 5. And then she sells another 5 and answers this 5. That's all you're saying.
So that's how you got the answer? Okay, cool. Did anyone else solve it in a different way? There's lots of different ways that you can solve problems.
So the first one always gonna be 0, like the 0 day.
For this one right here?
Yeah.
Or like this is your day. So you're saying, is this always going to be 0?
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be your, like, your starting off point, so it's, yeah, day 0. That's a really good point, and we'll probably come back to that too. Anyone else have, you solved it in a different way? I saw a lot of people doing like the T-charts, so, okay? So the other question, so you said method to solve, you kind of started with your initial amount and worked up. What would you rank, how would you rank the difficulty level? Easy? Okay. Cool. So same thing, you have another problem. So first 2 minutes on your own, second 2 minutes group, answer the same things. Okay, 2 minutes. On your own for the first 2.
Oh, okay, try to find the short one. Yep.
You guys have 20 seconds left before you can talk it out in the group. It's okay if you didn't finish on your own. You guys can maybe help each other out. Okay, guys, go ahead and talk in the groups. You guys have 2 minutes to try to talk in your groups and come up with an answer.
Oh, God.
I didn't mean to scare you, I'm sorry.
No, we're never gonna go for each other, you know?
You don't think so?
Yeah.
No,
Nah.
because she got 24 and he's at 14, so something.
No. There's an answer.
You gotta answer.
There's 30 seconds left, guys.
Real quick. For you.
Did you find something? Did you stop at? So you started like we did last time, right? Looks like. Got to a point where we were just like, how much longer will this go, huh? Okay, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So first off, did anyone get an answer? No? Okay, so maybe we should then skip to this question. Problem difficulty level compared to the other one. 10. So what would you rank the other one if you had to rank it? So easy, but give me a number since 0 or 1, it was just that easy, right? And this one is a 10. So you have an answer?
I think this one's just really time consuming.
It's really time consuming, so maybe not difficult, but it would take a long time. So, okay, difficult or take forever. How long, so we spent 2 minutes, right? Would you have that kind of time to do this on a ACT problem?
No.
No, okay, so that's kind of the point that we're trying to make, okay? So, yeah, Jen,
I got the answer.
what'd you get?
It takes them, they read 165 pages in 34 minutes.
You're really close. But so you went all the way up to 165 pages in 34 minutes. And we'll check answers. I got 169 pages in 38 minutes. We'll check though, okay? Join, who had John in their group? I forget. Okay, go join there. We're in groups. Okay, so guys, the point is, that's going to lead to what we're working on. The first one, let me go back. The first one was kind of easy, right? You only had to go to day 2, right? If we had to go all the way to day 35 or day 38, like Jen mentioned, that's going to take a long time. So our unit that we're working on is going to be systems of equations that we're going to start with, and then also matrices. Okay? Yes?
It's our last one.
No, we're going to do a few mini units, some things that are on the ACT a lot. So we're going to do this in matrices, a trig unit, like just a basic trig, and then a basic geometry. Okay? So, we're getting there. Let me pull something up. Okay, so like we said, as the problem gets harder, it's going to be helpful if we have tools to help us answer the questions, right? So let's first start with, let's look at Dale, okay? So for Dale, how would you describe his rate of change that he's selling cookie dough? So if you had to give, so the rate of change is, and this is how many he started with. I started
2.
So you're saying the rate of change is 2. So would you say that that is constant or it varies?
Constant.
It's constant? Okay. So what type of equations have we used that have a constant rate of change? Linear. Okay, so what's our base equation for linear equations? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so my challenge to you guys now is, can you write an equation that describes Dale's sales? Okay, so take a minute in your groups. You guys can work in your groups. Try to write an equation that describes the rate of sales, and then write it on your board. Okay? 37. I thought 38, but I may have been wrong. But there's a lot more room for error when you have so many problems, right?
Yeah, I think I just counted it wrong.
Yeah.
Right now. What are you guys thinking? Okay. How did you guys get that? Started with 6, so you B is for begin, right? Beginning with B. And then that's your rate. Okay, well, we'll see. Good job, guys. You guys have any thoughts on an equation? Close. What? Okay, so we said that the rate was what? 2. So in your equation, what represents your rate? Y equals mx plus b. What part of the equation? Kaya? You okay? Yeah, can you sit up? What part of the equation represents your rate of change? Anyone? Do you guys agree? Does B represent your rate of change? M represents your rate of change. And then what is B? Your starting point. Perfect. So, okay guys, 10 seconds to write the equation. I figured out. Okay, so.
5 seconds. You need to have it written down and hold it up in 4, 3. Do you have it written down?
I'm just gonna say.
2. Hold it up in 1. Compare with the other groups. So I'm seeing. Okay, it looks like everyone agrees. So, can I hear from one group? Why did you choose to make 6B? Nikolai? Yeah, B is for begin. Where did we begin? We began with 6 tubs already sold. Why did you choose 2 for your M, Shamar?
Because per day, it's kind of like kind of key time.
Perfect. You're right. It's your key term to recognize that that's your rate of change. Okay, now that you guys got it down, take 30 seconds and write an equation for Tara. Seconds. Write it on the piece of paper. Five, four. Hold up your answers in 3, 2, 1. What do you guys have? It's okay. Anyone in the group? Looks like everyone on the same page. 5x. Awesome. You guys all agree. It seems like we're getting this. So why did you guys not put any B?
You don't need
Started off with 0.
She didn't start with any sold. So 0 sold so far. And then she's selling at a rate of how many? Okay.
If you put,
Perfect.
If you put plus 0, would it like?
It really wouldn't change anything. We could put plus 0. It's just we don't really need it, right? It would be just extra. Okay. So now that we have 2 equations, what could we do to use these equations and solve? I know for this one it was easy and we didn't need it, but when it gets harder, Ellie? Good, so we could graph them. So there's a few different ways. Awesome job. So we could graph and find where they intersect. Awesome. Does anyone know of another way?
Look at the chart.
Look at the chart. Okay, so you make your T-chart, and that was kind of
Look at it on the calculator.
by graphing it? Oh, I got you. So kind of like you're graphing it, but then you just look at the chart. So I got you, okay, yep. Any other way? So if they sell the same amount of cookie dough, which variable represents the total cookie dough sold?
It's
Why?
Y.
Your Y represents your cookie dough, okay? So if Y is the same, another way of saying that they're the same in math terms is saying they're equal. So if they're equal, what can we do?
You just write it as
Yeah, we can plug it in. So another method that we can use is substitution. Okay, and so that's what we're going to do to start with. But Ellie, you're absolutely right. We're also going to graph. Okay, so because both of these equal y, I could just, instead of having y here, I'm going to substitute in this because this also equals y into this equation. Now what do I do?
subtract 2x from 5x.
What'd you get? 3x equals 6. Now what? Someone else.
Wait, why did you plug the 5x?
Why did I plug it in someone else? Why did I plug it?
Because both y's are the same.
Because we said that we will eventually sell the same amount of cookie dough. Y represented the number of cookie dough tubs sold. So we would just actually substitute in the value for y into the other equation because they're equal to each other. Does that help?
But 10 is the number that you found, so why wouldn't you put in 10?
You're right, 10, but we don't, if we're acting like we didn't solve it yet. So we solved it because it was like a quick one to solve, but when it's harder, like number 2, you're not going to know what it is until we plug it in. Okay, so then how do we solve the rest of this?
Divide by 3 on both sides.
And what do you get?
2.
So x equals 2. So let's go back and say, let's say I erased our work. So we found x equals 2. So that's the number of what? What does that mean?
Days.
The number of days. So what if we wanted to go back and solve for the number of tubs? What would we do?
Plug in 2x.
Perfect. Plug it in. So x equals 2. I'm going to substitute. 2. What's 2 times 2?
4.
4 plus 6. 4 plus 6 equals?
10.
So you just proved it. So it seemed a little bit longer while we were learning it, but when you get a problem like number 2, this way is actually faster. Okay? So does anyone have any questions on this so far? Or do you guys feel okay? Okay, so that's kind of our intro, and you guys know how to solve this. You guys talk through it yourself. So we're just going to practice these problems a little bit more though. So what the next few days are going to look like. So we're going to practice these different methods of solving systems of equations using substitution, which we did, graphing, which Ellie mentioned, and elimination. But first, we're going to do a little crafts project, and we're going to make guided notes so you guys can help yourself solve this, okay? So you guys will all be working on making these guided notes. You guys can choose how you make them. So for every option, so there's graphing, substitution, and elimination. You can choose to make it just like one flip over, like this, if you want to be able to just look at how to solve it like that. Or if you want to be able to use this as a tool to like flashcards, like test yourself, you can make it where each section flips over one at a time, okay? So the first thing that we need to do is kind of create our chart, and then we're going to have to fill in the guided notes because it's not filled in for you. So we're going to spend about 10 minutes, whatever color you guys originally had, that's the color that you guys are going to get. Okay, so come on up here and get your correct color. And you guys, I have scissors so you guys can cut out these sheets however you want. Okay guys, so this is your cover sheet. And this is your guided notes that you're going to glue or staple it to. Here's the example, okay? So let's go ahead and get up and move for about 10 minutes because I know we are sitting, okay? So let's go ahead and get up and move. I'll put a timer on for 10 minutes. Jacob, you waiting for them? Okay. Okay, do we have any requests for playlists, guys?
Play the bass.
Play what?
The bass.
You look like someone.
Yeah, oh, because you, I'm going to open here, go.
There's a Band-Aid right here.
Be careful with the scissors, guys. So you choose if you want it to flip over like this or like this, okay?
I don't know. I gotta go watch my brother play. It's me. I don't know.
I'm playing at 9.
Jay, can we get the?
Oh, what's in my scissors?
Nice try though. I was like, oh, did you find a new way?
Mr. Moon?
Yeah.
Appreciate
What's
it.
that? Some glue? I have glue sticks. Also, it might work to staple the edge too. Does anyone want to look at this more closely to kind of see how it was made? You guys do. And you can just put that on top of this. Glue sticks are over on the blue part. I'll put them all over here. Yeah. Well, there's a few other ones.
Right, you got two different ones.
So, I don't think you're supposed to tell them that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like.
This will
Yeah,
work.
just put it like that.
What's that? Sorry. I was just trying to have some attendance earlier. So it's your choice. Caleb, can I borrow that just for a second? I'll give it back to you. So you can choose like how, depending on how you want to like use it as a study guide. If you want to just have it flip up where it gives you all the information at once for the steps for graphing, you can do that. And just cut it along these lines. If you want it where you can kind of test yourself like flashcards, you can cut it like this along the dotted lines of the steps, and it will flip up one step at a time, and you can kind of use it to test yourself like that. But it's whatever you want, okay? So I know you kind of all have different preferences, so.
Could I maybe,
Or if you come up with another way, go ahead.
on top of the steps?
But, so like this, you're saying? But then you can't even cover it up at all. So the purpose.
I'm not gonna, I also know what step it is, it's just how like you do it. You'll be able to see like where it says traffic.
So the purpose, maybe I'm not under, this be on top of the bar. This one? So this needs to be on top, so that you can test yourself, but how you gonna test Okay, so Kaya, sorry, can I borrow one time? So Kai, how this is meant to be is so that you can like test yourself. So this actually will go on top of the paper. Yeah, why not? What's the line? So it's meant to push it.